Here we go! Another day, another video. Today I'm answering a question from one of my longtime subscribers, Talent T. Shout out to you, my man. And he asked me, what are my religious beliefs? Was I ever religious? And how has my views potentially changed and all of that? Very tricky question, very sensitive topic. Anytime I mention religion on the channel, there's quite a few people reacting in a very strong way. But before I continue, let us just take a minute to appreciate the vast amount of water which I'm currently surrounded by. So how many streams, how many bodies of water do you count? That's 1, 2 down here, 3, 4. One of my absolute favorite spots to come and unwind and hike, be one with nature. This is a big reason why I love Belgium, and more specifically the place where I live. Alright, back to the question. I swear to God, I'm not trying to stall time, pun intended. So I grew up as a Catholic Christian. I was baptized, I did my first communion, I did my second communion, that's what we call it in Belgium, and I went to Catholic school. So I'm all, I'm pretty well versed in what it means to be Catholic, obviously. Now, I have just consumed too much objective and scientific knowledge over the years to still be in a state of belief as it concerns to God and Jesus and all these things. Now, why do I say that? Obviously, there's plenty of research out there that points out the parallels between the Catholic Christian story, the Islamic story, even the Buddhist story, and all of these other religions. They basically have different names for the same characters in the same story with the same events. Alright, so that's where it starts. You can clearly tell that the same story has been adopted over and over by different religions, and each and every religion claimed their story to be, the one that was actually true. Not really realizing that it's all the same story, just different names. So that's already like, once I figured that one out, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. Alright, and this is about to get real spooky right now. And I'm very aware I might turn some people off with what I'm about to say. I do not know this for a fact, not even close. But I am, however, very open. Gotta watch out because it's extremely muddy and slippery out here. I'm very open to the possibility of advanced civilizations having been here way before humanity turned into what it is today. There is an author called Graham Hancock, pretty well-known guy, who has written about this. Specifically, there's a book called Fingerprints of the Gods, and he basically follows the premise of the so-called Younger Dryas theory, where he believes there was a highly advanced civilization thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago that was met with a cataclysmic event in the form of an asteroid or a meteor that hit planet Earth and basically wiped out this entire civilization, except for a few individuals that survived. Now, if we go and read about the ancient cultures all across the world and their origin stories, they all once again tell the same story. They talk about an individual coming from the water with long white hair, blonde hair, whatever the case was, and coming there to teach the locals, to teach their tribe about agriculture, taught them about potatoes, how to cultivate and harvest them, all this stuff. Like, they basically came with a bunch of knowledge to help them out. And then one day, they just left. They went back to the water, the ocean, and just seemingly disappeared in thin air. So, if you keep that in mind, honestly, how does that not sound like Jesus? You know what I'm saying? And I can imagine right now, there's a bunch of people getting really angry with me already. I hope God doesn't strike me down for this blasphemy and throws one of these massive trees on my head. But all that being said, I just feel like there was a race between the different religions to make their way to the top. And I think that the Catholic Church just has been the one that won that race. They were the first ones to assert their dominance, to take over, and to basically be the dominant religion. So that's why to this day, most of us, maybe not most of us, but many of us, still swear by God and Jesus. And I just want to make this one thing crystal clear that anyone watching this who's getting offended, who's getting angry, if you would have been born in a different continent, in a different country, then you would be convinced today that Jesus and God never existed, and that it was Muhammad, and, well, I guess Islam also just calls it God. But you catch my drift. Like, if you were born in, shit man, Hawaii, you would have worshipped whichever God they worshipped. And now I thoroughly hope that Hawaii isn't Catholic Christian, but I don't think they are. Anyway, that's my whole point. Like, people need to understand that we're just a product of our environment and our culture, and what we've been taught. And that's kind of my beef with religion. You need, and I've met so many highly intelligent people, like really smart people, professors, teachers, scientists. And then they'll turn around and just blindly follow their religious views. And it makes it hard for, it's so hard for me not to judge in those moments, because it's like, really? You figured out all these things about life, about society, about people, why we do what we do, and they are going to turn around and be like, Jesus Lord, you know, like, oh God, you know, and you're gonna pray. Like, come on, guys, like, it really does not require that much rational thinking or objectivity to see that the names that we put on these things are literally just labels that have been taught to us through religious marketing. That's literally what it is. So I'm not with all of those hyper-specific religious fairy tales. Like, it's great stories, I appreciate the culture, but if you know, you can never, I'll never take that serious, you know, in the sense of actually thinking that happened. Now, of course, I know that the Bible and all these things likes to work with metaphors, but that's where it gets even more tricky, because you can turn anything into anything, you know. Like, a metaphor is highly subjective. You can basically kind of spin it your way so that you're still doing what God wanted you to do. And that is why I am highly anti-religion, but definitely not anti-spirituality. I'm not anti-divine beings. I believe there's more. I definitely believe that there are energies and powers at work that we can't really, you know, that we cannot explain. I've had too much happen to me in my life for me to try and deny that. But I just cannot ignore the hyper-obvious fact that religion is nothing but a tool to control the masses. And, you know, I want to be very clear in my message. I'm not even saying that I'm against it per se. I just think that it's outdated. I think that we've outgrown it. But we owe so much of our technological advancement and so much of our cultural evolution to religion. We need it as mankind. We need it, you know, that belief that if you kill your neighbor, you're gonna go to hell. If you steal, you're gonna go to hell. Like, we needed that. That was the only way we were able to create law and order in society. So people had to believe that, and it did a lot of bad. A lot of people got murdered and killed in the name of God and religion, but it also did a lot of good. So it was a necessary evil, actually. And it was always going to happen. If it wasn't the Catholic Church, it would have been Islam. If it wasn't Islam, it would have been something else, you know. So it is what it is. But that's really my stance on religion. I do believe there is something more. I do believe that we cannot explain everything, but when I say that, I more so talk about energy as an entity. I believe that we have incredible power in our minds in terms of manifesting certain things, but even more so in terms of getting back what you put out and basically radiating a certain frequency that'll attract like-minded people on a subconscious level. That is what I do believe. And however you want to call that, that's up to you. I do not. So yeah, that's it basically. That's all I gotta say. I feel like I've been rambling a lot. So I hope that was a semi-coherent explanation. Callum T. Now, if anybody else wants to ask me a question for me to answer on my hikes in nature, then make your way over to the Q&A section in my Discord. Ask me whatever you want me to talk about, and I'll make a video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and have a great day. May God be with you.